What's up everyone, welcome back to another Thumbnail Thursday, and today we are recreating this thumbnail by Johnny Harris. The original is the original thumbnail by Johnny Harris, and if we zoom out a little bit, the recreation here is where I will be recreating the thumbnail, and items is all of the individual elements that I have collected that will help us recreate this whole thing. So as always, the thumbnail is in three different layers, right? So the first layer, the top layer, is the text. Then the second layer is Johnny himself along with all of the people. And the third layer is the background, which gives you that redacted, top secret, the government doesn't want you to know feel. We are going to create the background, and then we'll create the midground and then the foreground. So in the background, we have all the documents, we have the Pentagon, there's a helicopter here, and we have this little emblem. So I have already collected all of these things at the bottom here. So we are going to come to items, and I want to start off with the documents. So we're going to take all three, zoom out, press V for the move tool, and just move them to the artboard on top. So I'm going to pick one, I'm going to resize it. So this has a lot of black boxes, so I'm thinking I'll place it here and rotate a little bit. I'm going to move this, again make this one bigger, get the last one, again make it bigger, get it right here maybe. So we are going to try to just toggle through some of these blending modes and see which one can be best for us. Okay, this looks good. We are going to do the same with the other two. Cool, we'll stick to vivid light. Now what I want to do is bring on these monuments. So I'm going to zoom out, press V, the move tool, and bring this back into our image. So there are two monuments in the thumbnail, right? There's one on the right, there's one on the left. Looking at the text that we've included, I think it would be better if we place this on the right. So the first thing we'll have to do is select the subject. So now that has perfectly selected the subject, I'm going to press W, do layer via copy. I'm going to hide the previous layer. Go to here and just do black and white, right? So this just makes the whole thing black and white. Now I'm going to try to bring in the Pentagon as well. I bring it to the artboard on top. I will just take the lasso tool and I am going to just trace the outline and select it manually, right? Right click, layer via copy. Now I'll make it bigger, and the minute I bring it below the black and white filter, it becomes black and white. And I want to change the blending mode to maybe something like a linear burn or a darker color. Linear burn is best. So now we're kind of getting there. We have the documents, we have all of this. I do want to move this one around a little bit, right? That looks a little better. Now we need these paragraphs on top. I am going to take our document here. I am going to duplicate it, move it to where I want the paragraph, and I'm only going to select that paragraph using the lasso tool. This is a very quick way of getting what you want with minimal effort. So I have a text on top. Maybe I copy the same layer. So now we have kind of the background coming together. Now let's work on these images of each of the people. I just did a quick Google search and I got another image of Johnny Harris. This is I think from his McDonald's video. Move it quickly and we'll make it bigger. He's almost occupying 3/4 of the space, right? So that's perfect. Now I'm going to go to select and do subject, only Johnny. Press W, right click, layer via copy, and hide the original layer. So now that we have Johnny in place, we are going to get the 4 other people behind him. Now what we need to do is to go in quickly and select the subjects and make them black and white. I will start off with President Trump. So you select, you do subject, W, right click, layer via copy. So now I'm just quickly going to select all of my individual layers and bring them below the mask. I have very quickly kind of gotten to this place, right? Now you will still notice that the way that these are exposed is a little bit different. Right, so I will just try to, that works out. I like the way that looks. So I'm going to duplicate it and bring it over each of the layers and then just quickly combine them. But I think we're getting there. Now let's work on the smiley faces using the dollar signs. This is pretty straightforward. You can just take one of the brushes. So first I'm going to make a new layer on top of our 4 politicians and let me group these. Now I'm going to go to brush Okay, let's just pick this one. So now we need to select a very bright green. Okay, so this is still coming out as gray, and the problem is that this layer was below the black and white layer. So what I'm going to do is do the $sign for one person and then just copy it for everyone else. We'll have to make it a little smaller. Look at that. I want to color correct Johnny's face just a tiny bit. So for that, I'm going to come here, exposure, and just see how it looks. Combine the two layers so it only applies to Johnny. That looks pretty good. That looks quite dramatic. So you'll notice that the text on top is on this sort of tape. So what I have done is I have gone ahead and found a certain brush. What I'm going to do is just use this one brush to create this entire layer. And this whole layer, we are going to just move down by a bit. You might have to move things around a little bit, make some things bigger, but I think we're getting there. So now what we need is the text. And this font I directly got off the Adobe website. You just need to do a little exploring and you'll be able to figure out where these fonts are coming from. I do want to space it out a little bit more. Now we just need to focus on the background. So I do have a helicopter here. Same drill, I select the subject, we do layer via copy, right? And this needs to be a little subtle, right? It has to go behind the politicians. Maybe even we can move that building to a different location. So this building we can move right there, we can put here. I do want that top secret, so I'm just going to write it down here and we will change the font to typewriter. Now all I need is a single line. Oops, I still have arrowheads enabled. I will just have a single line which will be filled and I will make it bigger. Perfect, look at that. That looks so good. I think that's it. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. This is what the original thumbnail looked like and this is our recreation.